All right, good. I'm supposed to be recording too. There we go. Okay. All right. So sorry about that. You don't need this. I did send out a message saying that this is an in-person activity and I don't expect, joiners, but from remote, but it's okay. All right. So before I give you the scenarios to read, I'm just going to kind of go over a little bit that when you do get the handout, you're going to read the scenario, okay? And then you're going to also read the discussion prompts. Take about a couple of minutes, and I will time everybody to just do that. Read the scenario, and each person reads the discussion prompts. The scenario is in the center. The discussion prompts are on the bottom. And at the top, you have the same instructions that are placed here with the roles that are assigned, okay? And then step 2, you're actually going to take about 3 minutes to role play. So whoever is A, B, C, and D, A, B, and C are going to actually improvise the scenario. You will role play what's described on the scenario, and then you will also add a few extra comments at the end of the scenario to try to resolve the conflict that's described in that scenario, okay? And then, and by the way, when you're role playing in those 3 minutes, you don't actually have to solve any conflicts. You basically just improvise, have fun with it, just, pretend that these are the comments that you might say, within the group to actually try to react to the situation. And then at the end, we will talk about, you'll discuss it and then try to come up with some solutions if you weren't able to initially resolve the issue. And then each player who is a D has an observer role. That person should be observing the other 3 do the scenario or role play scenario and take notes. Okay, and you can take notes about any behavior that you notice, any nonverbal communication, some missed opportunity to say something important, any constructive feedback that you could share with the team later when you have that discussion. And that's step 4. After the role play, you share insights within the group and during what I'm calling a post role play discussion. And then if we have time, we might try to just share with the whole class a couple of ideas for resolving these conflicts. Okay? And then I'm going to just put the post role play discussion up here now, but it's also written on your notes. All right? So I am going to give you guys, and there might be some extras here, that's okay. And there's a page on the back that says notes. If the observer could please make notes on that page. And if you don't mind, I'd love to collect them at the end because I'm working on a mentor training guide that I'd like to be able to include resources and your notes will help me, figure out the important things that could be included in that guide. Okay, so I'm going to give you this. And then you guys will get that. So if you could just distribute the role play descriptions among your and then I'm going to go around and just kind of help out, answer any questions that you want. Okay. Yes. Just listen to what the others say. All right, so again, just to help out, read the scenario in the center and the little instructions for the discussion that you'll have after. Did you guys read this scenario?
Yeah.
All right, so. If you want to, you can move on the table and just face each other. I think that helps. It might be easier to do that. All right, and then just depending on who you are, maybe you're just role play the situation with. So.
Yeah. That's what I say. Yeah, it's a sneaky back. And stupid HP. They. Happens. So like all the back. Getting offer. These other. Not trying to.
Yeah.
You're right. I couldn't see that. I don't think I'm the number if you got like. Maybe all of us. No record. Especially or stationary or. They, I think if you want to shoot makeup, continue.
Yeah.
Enforce that scenario. Just saying that for stationary. Water. You need to listen. Well, better. We made comments. Great time. So you guys practice.
I don't do it.
Or something.
And I'll can share your.
Right.
So.
This evening, I just asked, there's no conflict. Go fix it. How good is it? The best. So good at that. Not even very. I just been out of my engineering thing.
Right. Right. See ya.
Sorry.
In this case, I'm gonna first.
And the film.
Okay, hold on. Zero. Oh, it's really good. Take now, you know, all line, there's just two. Alright, keep on. You want to. And then the Twitter bottle. That's good. Mind you, one line, see that nice time to the place. Especially one. Think you all find buddy on the sign. One is something. One whole town to some 75 minutes. Yeah, we did. I don't know shit about my. I know how to use it.
Yeah.
I told her to integrate for 5 years.
Great, yeah. What? That point.
Making a. Yes. How much? I was gonna say, I have where is your power, but you're not stuck. Right. Right. Oh, that's good. Oh, yes, I'm trying to have like the discussions. Yeah. And this is where you have to get locked. I can work. Okay, so eventually, it's only one. It's good. I'm so good. Not flash. Right. Yeah, so I just got there. So really, okay, we pull them on and it's still gonna get. Yeah. So the contract. Yeah. Well, so I'm solving conflict. Technical issues. Personality. Yeah. We get. Because you know. How much
And then I got interrupted. So that's next year. I got interrupted. Attention, please. Thank you so much. Sorry to interrupt. This is an activity that's nice sometimes to have to do. This is just a little taste. And so I really appreciate you, just jumping right into it. It takes time to warm up to doing a role play. It's not a simple thing. And, but right now, what I'd really like to do is to have a chance to share with the whole class, if that's okay with you guys. So what I want to do is I can go ahead and read the role play so that everybody knows what role plays each group was, acting out. And then maybe somebody from each group can, one or two people or all of you, share your comments about how you would resolve the situation or what information were you able to find some ideas, insights that you think could be helpful in helping to resolve the scenario. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and start with role play 2. Who has role play 2?
We do.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I forgot how I hand them out. Alrighty, so in this scenario, Alejandro, the chief scientist, comes on board with a scientific instrument he built in his workshop. He wants to install it on the ship's equipment and send it down to collect samples. He tells Kimmy, the science team's graduate student, to give the instrument to Catherine, the marine technician, and to complete the sampling. Catherine is concerned this new instrument might damage the equipment on the ship and tells Kimmy they cannot proceed with the sampling. Kimmy goes back to Alejandra and shares the message. Alejandra tells Kimmy to go back to Catherine and let her know she is interfering with the scientific objectives of the expedition. Kimmy is caught in the middle and feels stressed out. She doesn't understand what went into making this instrument and doesn't know what to do to ensure its safe use while completing the sampling. Okay, so, and then it says players improvise this scenario and then add some additional comments to attempt at resolving this issue. And that would mean, what can we do to make sure that we're using equipment safely while satisfying the goals of the science expedition? All right, so maybe would you guys mind just saying what was each person's role? Like I was Kimmy and I'm, this person, and then just say, well, these are some ideas of how we think would be a good way to resolve the situation. If you were able to come up with something, go ahead.
I was the chief scientist. I really enjoyed being a jerk. I was Kimmy.
And I was Catherine Marine Tech.
Okay, wonderful. Alrighty. So, and an observer,
Yes.
You probably got a chance to, think about ways to resolve the scenario, right? So, do you guys want to share? What were some ideas that you came up with? You don't all have to share, but were you able to figure out a way that you think might be a good compromise here?
Ultimately, since we needed approval of this instrument, and the people who the authority to say this is safe, this is not. My suggestion was to talk to the chief mate or the captain and see if this instrument will not indeed damage our equipment, or if it will, then we should
Okay.
probably not use it. Advise for future, we should have this discussion
Okay.
on this instrument before the first.
And so Catherine, ideally would go back to the chief scientist
Yes, or.
and not necessarily burdening Kimmy with that.
Yeah.
Because Kimmy is kind of in the middle,
Yeah.
feeling stressed out, right? Okay. Any other thoughts or ideas about that, or does that sound like?
That's kind of the synopsis, just that the grad student who's not familiar with equipment shouldn't be placed in that situation. But it's just not an effective way to have that discussion. So the tech would really just talk to chief scientist directly, and if they couldn't resolve that with the chief scientist, then involve the captain or the chief mate. to be a third party, and then particularly as it relates to safety
Okay,
of deployment, whatever equipment it was.
good point. Well, thank you. Yes.
So also talking about, one of the themes that I've also seen that came up was how important preparation is. So a lot of these issues that come up on the ship can be resolved before they ever have a chance to happen. Whether that's with more chief scientist training cruises, so they know what to expect on a ship, more communication between them and their grad students, better cruise planning meetings in general. And as you were discussing, this has improved in the last several years and continuing to get better. So these issues won't even have a chance to happen in the first place. That when they do happen, proper escalation. So the people that are actually responsible, the captain and chief mate, like instead of duking it out with the grad students, like go all the way to the place where it actually should go. And then those people are there for a reason, and they can sort of make a decision for everyone. So yeah, communication, escalation, they evaluate, and then hopefully you prepare well enough to every capacity.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah. Do you guys feel that this is a realistic scenario?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what about, I'm sorry, did anyone else here in this group had anything else to add?
I would say I think a lot of times in science too, like there will be times where they will change things on the dot and bring things like last minute. So even if, they do go through all the preparation, with, everybody in the beginning about what they're bringing on and stuff, sometimes things will come up and they'll bring things last minute. And that's a lot of times kind of how these situations occur, but like same thing I think that we're trying to talk about here, where if something like it's just a matter of communication, like, if it's a safety matter and it has to be up there, what's gonna be best for the ship and everything, and communication direct with chief scientists, because that's who is on the science learning side, as well as like working with people and not putting into the science party.
Right. Yeah, well said. Yeah. And I really believe that, probably, I mean, I'm not the expert here, but, I'm willing to just, I'm wondering if probably like 99% of the time, nobody is trying to purposely offend anyone, right? But, people are stressed out. They have, a lot of responsibilities, it's a demanding environment. And sometimes, it's just, we're responsible for putting our best professional foot forward, right? And, and being polite with everyone, but it just doesn't always happen because we're human, right? And so, but I really appreciated, all of your contributions. Thank you so much. Did anyone else in the class wanted to share any thoughts? Yes.
I think generally the chief scientist will appreciate the marine tech more, even if they get shut down, if they feel like the marine tech actually tried to get it in the water, right? So okay, explain to the chief side why it's unsafe, get them on the same page as what you're seeing. And I don't want to kill anybody next year. And they're like, oh shit, I'm gonna kill somebody. They'll probably start reconsidering their stance. And then if the marine tech is truly showing to try their best, or trying to offer ideas of how they can get incorporated into the system, then the chief scientist will appreciate that. Even if it doesn't work, they'll appreciate the intent and then come back to the ship next time with a better plan.
Excellent. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Anyone else would like to add any ideas?
Yeah, but when you want to do conflict resolution, then you have to obviously have a conflict. We had a little trouble coming up with enough conflict with ours, and
Oh, really?
I think the thing is you're right. Everything you said is right. You want to work with the chief sci and try to make it better, but sometimes they won't listen. I mean, it's when you really have these hard conflicts that I think we need to address. So what we want to do here is, because you're going to say, people will come out with stuff, and using this example, they'll come out with a non-pressure tested instrument. Mm-hmm. And we're like, no, that's against our rules. And they're like, you didn't tell me that. It's like, you didn't tell us you were bringing the instrument. And it's like, well, you should have known.
Yeah.
And so you have a major conflict there, and conflict's not going to go away. Tone it down and fix something. And the technician can't solve this because they'll just bypass the technician immediately. They'll just go right to the captain. And the boat's well run, the captain will send you back to the technician.
Yeah, and at least keep the situation.
So I don't know, there's a difference between solving the technical issues of the conflict and solving the interpersonal issues of it.
Exactly, yeah,
So-
absolutely.
And actually, one of the reasons I came was to throw out this one rule that I have, which is never say no right away. So they're gonna come up with this instrument, and I had an instrument one time, before we actually had really strong rules, and it was made by a graduate student, and I'll tell you that nothing happened, but they had basically collected aluminum beer cans for like months to melt them and make their own pressure housing, which is kind of terrible. And that they used it and it was fine, but it's like, if they did that now, it's like, no, you can't put this down, but I'm gonna be like, let me get back to you on that. And as a attorney, and we have methods, you can, it's like, all right, well, if you can get the time, that was a graduate student, so if you can get the time from the chief's eye, we'll let you have an independent pass on our quarter inch wire with nothing next to this, not mounting it on the ZTV, and if it survives 150% of the depth you want to operate at, then we might be good to go.
Great idea.
So, but
Test,
the
a test opportunity to test it out without,
Right.
damaging other.
But yeah, but I want to say the main issue is don't say no from the start. And I can tell you that I would think that this is never going to work. And then half an hour later or the next day, somebody will come up with some weird workaround or some way of reinterpreting it that makes it work.
Excellent point, yeah, like gather all the information first, instead of, quickly saying, oh, no way. All right, wonderful, thank you. Shall we go on to the next one? All right, okay, just, for the sake of making sure we're on time. All right, so let's see what we have in the next one. So role play 3. There, thank you. Okay, so graduate student Amanda is on board sampling a medium for PI Nadia, who is not on the ship, but in communication via telephone. Amanda is also told to collect samples for another PI with a different funding source, who is also not on the ship. This other request does not align with its objectives. Amanda is trying to complete the requests for both PIs and asks Elian, the marine technician, for assistance. Elian tells Amanda that bad weather is causing delays and the sampling needs to be completed within 24 hours. He asks Amanda which tasks has priority because both cannot be completed within the available time. Amanda says she doesn't feel comfortable answering this question and Nadia is busy. Elian gets frustrated. He doesn't think it's his decision to make, but since he functions as a bridge between science and deck operations, he feels he's being forced to decide. Alrighty, so can we reach consensus and use ship time effectively or efficiently at the same time? What do you guys think? Ideas? How did you resolve, if you were able to?
Yeah, I think our resolution came in attempting, to do what it says we couldn't do. I think the commission, always want to, try to get as much work done as possible. And so figuring out a few details that aren't in there, as far as whether, the weather window, such that we can, outside of it, tackle one of the objectives and then maybe come circle back and tackle the other objectives, still meeting all of this, not sure. And or if there's ways to minimize any parts of the sampling that might be needed and not the actual
Right.
work. If there was a way to just do a smaller sample for Nadia and then another sample that may be smaller in scope than what the original RVTEC wanted.
Okay.
But yeah, just some technicians that really wanted to tackle this and get it all done.
Don't say no, right?
Yeah.
Try to make.
Yeah.
Was the Nadia, the Disney person from the vine, so. That's it to them. They really tackled, trying to get it all done.
Let's hear from the others. What did you guys think? Say, she covered it all. So nothing else to add about that?
We, time come. It's like me. Yeah, I was in Vegas, I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, I guess, I mean, the conflict was that, there basically wasn't enough time. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that has to be the exact situation. You might be able to find a way, in fact, to make time. So I like that approach because you're just trying to figure out what. Maybe we can find a way to get it all done. Well, let's explore that. Okay, I'm sure there are times when you probably like the idea of being open to figuring out a way to resolve that, and still get things done. Good, good, all right. So any other comments from other groups? Maybe these scenarios are just not conflict, they're not challenging enough.
I can say it. Just.
Yeah, I would love,
You just have to always have.
yeah.
Well,
Good movie.
Sure. Yeah, what's gonna happen is somebody's not gonna get all the data, and you're just gonna present them with, that's all we had time for, and they're just gonna have to eat it.
Okay.
I don't know that that's
And go back to the grad student, he's got two PIs to answer to, but also at the same time. She's directionless, so she's useless for any sort of. And so, yeah, it does kind of come down to green text to go, okay, I understand what you want. Here's how we can accomplish a little bit of each.
I think you'll find that there's a theme developing here, like a common theme, the marine technician is making some hard decisions.
Yeah. Things don't work. We can support the ship and the equipment, they're not science technicians. Doing that. You can't call on our text and say, I want more CPDs, you guys have to help us do them. Well, call CPDs anyway. They can't supply water sampling people for the CDs, they can't complete this stuff quickly enough. That's not up to the ship techs to fix that problem.
Right, we'll launch and recover and fix, but the sampling and all that other stuff is up to the.
Yeah, so I guess I'm making a distinction between it. I guess in my mind, there's a science technician usually in the party and ship techs. Well, the ship techs generally don't. Do you have any? Is that the same way everywhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I would also just say that sometimes it just isn't possible to accommodate absolutely everything, and you just have to make a choice, and you have to be okay with it, stand by that choice. Risk you take going out to sea.
And I have to go and communicate to everyone.
Yeah, it happens.
Any other? Well, do you guys think this is a realistic scenario?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sarah, it's the problems don't come with the details, if it's such a fine level, it's hard.
Yeah. Right, and that's what we felt too, we're just like, well, what kind of samples are these, can we get it all done, or nothing, because we don't know.
I like that. I think it would be wonderful if you guys are open to it. Maybe, if you would like to come up with scenarios and send them to me. About how conflicts develop and initially they're very, very hard to resolve. What are the elements behind that?
Something I think she suggested was to have a couple lines to start off and dot it. So that's here's where it's going, here's why this is a conflict.
Yeah, let's map one scenarios.
I'm gonna write that down. So I don't have a pen right here, but I will grab one. Yeah.
So,
Take a note of that. On your little sheet. Yeah, I would love to, I want to say you have for me, feel free to add them to that. Really well.
I have a quick comment too. So,
Yes, please.
as somebody who has been in conflict, what so just looking back, you kind of see it coming from a mile away sometimes, and what usually sparks the whole thing is just a little sign of disrespect. And then the whole thing just explodes. If you give a little bit of space, give a little bit of time, say, I hear you, I understand you, I'm really sorry this is happening, let me see what I can do. You're saying that. Give a little bit of space and time, and then things will change. But you're just like, no. Or like, no. You're just like forcing it into their face. It's gonna explode. So you'll be
Yeah, I'm hearing again that it's a delicate interplay between the technical aspects and the interpersonal interactions.
being a good communicator is so important. So parts of life.
Remaining calm, yes. Okay, thank you. All right, let's go on to the next one. So role play 4.
Yeah.
You guys have, okay, all right. So here, Gia, the ship's engineer, reports an electrical issue in one of the labs and needs to turn off the power while she inspects the system. Alvin, the marine technician, is instructed to go around and ask all the scientists to unplug the equipment. Alvin asks Steve, one of the scientists running samples in the lab, if he can unplug the equipment he's currently using. Steve says it's not possible because all the hard work of bringing samples up from the deep will be lost. Since Steve is not cooperating, Alvin's communication skills are being tested. He's trying to figure out how to proceed. It's his job to communicate ship malfunctions between the operators and scientists. So he needs to figure out how to best communicate this issue while trying to satisfy the science goals. All righty. So realistic? I gotta ask that question. Okay, all right, so. What,
First things first, I'm Gia, the ship's engineer.
I'm Alvin, the marine technician. I was the.
scientist?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right,
The main thing I'm concerned as far as the engineers here is that how severe electrical issues. Like, it's like, is it a known issue? It's like to the point where you know that you need to turn off the power. And if there's any adjacent or anything parallel to whatever that is being affected, if anything else around it is being affected, instrument wise. As a ring technician, yes, it like the liaison and whatnot. But ship's engineer, we talk about like safety first over like science. But at the same time, it's very delicate too because time is money out there. So we need to get like the scientists what they need to achieve like their scientific goal. Let's see.
well said. So it sounds like you're saying, get more information, which is also a very similar necessity to other scenarios here, right? Like if the marine technician has been told to go and communicate to the scientists, but it sounds like you're saying, well, I need to go get more information about this. What's the extent of this?
Exactly, like no troubleshooting.
Mhm.
It's like, cut like self-explainer or anything. Like it's very going in blind, you don't know what you're dealing with
Right.
until it's
So don't go in blind, right?
Yeah. so.
And then you were saying if it was an issue where you needed to shut off some critical data collection source, can we back up the data and be able to reset? Just double check.
Excellent point. Yes, yeah. Anything else?
I was gonna say, it really depends on what samples they're bringing up to, like, is it XVT, is it a Niskin model? So many different things, so,
Okay, so
and that
that'll
would change how you would approach the problem.
be, yeah,
But in this scenario, since Steve isn't cooperating, so like he's already made his mind, like he's not gonna compromise. It really comes down to the marine tech to convey the message of how serious it is, if it is a serious thing.
yeah.
And if not, maybe, get the ship's engineer or the captain involved and try to work out another tack or something.
There you go.
Yeah.
Great, yeah. I like that.
And we kind of went down the scenario that everyone in the room was familiar with, which is a ground fault, which is what this kind of looks like. And, it's like, well, we've got a whole bunch of things plugged in. Do we need to unplug? Does he have to be first?
Right.
Would be my question to the chief engineer. Can we start pulling other plugs until we see what's going on here? And then how, again, as timing becomes a thing, do we need to solve this in the next 10 minutes, or can we wait half an hour until the academy is done?
Okay.
So, again, these are simply sorting out the technical issues, I guess, in the scenario, not. I think a good example where a scientist just completely freaked out, just refused to cooperate. I guess in that case, you just walk over eventually.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you're good to go.
Back.
That's the engineer fault.
Yeah. Point of view, you just you call it. That's the chief engineer call it. It's like, stop. Yeah. Spoke the bridge. I avoided it.
Any other comments?
I think this scenario is like basically what the captain or the chief are like telling you to do something, and then you go to scientists and they say we can't do that, and then you have to go back and find out like why do we have to do it, and then you have to go tell them. Like it's kind of like being the middle person in the other scenario, but it's understanding. I forget who was saying. I mean, Bruce was saying it. It's being able to speak both languages and translate, and really bring the three people into the same room so that the chief understands like the whole reason we're out at sea right now is to get these samples. So if you ruin the whole cruise by unplugging it, but also realize the scientists, if we don't unplug this right now, we're going to have a fire and then we're not going to be able to be out here at all anyway. So your data's ruined. Like just kind of being the source of translating for each other. Like,
Right.
each other's priorities don't always match. Like you're there to kind of like make everybody realize like we're here for the science, but if the ship goes down, then there's no science to be done. Right?
Yeah, it's being able to communicate the levity of this different scenarios and what's higher priority, less priority, and just trying to figure out where that middle can meet. So like for this scenario, like that team said, it's like, okay, well, can I tell the engineer, hey, you know, he's got a half hour left of download to do, can we just postpone it? Maybe when they're all asleep, can we change up our schedule where we could do this test while, you know, science isn't happening? Or is it where, you know, the engineer has it pinpointed and it's be done RFN, or other issues, or it's going to start spiraling into other issues down the line and not just affect a single lab. This person just unplugged temporarily and moved to a different lab, or whatever the scenario may be. But it's just that level of communication of where the priority is. Can we postpone? Can we do this? Finding that middle ground between the two, and that's where we we are that liaison. Exactly. But as also at the end of the day, do also what you're told by your side of things. You know, if you're employed by the ship or you're employed by this company, not necessarily by the science team, sometimes that dividing line has to be there to go, okay, I have to take the ship's priority, not so much the science.
Yeah, that's like what you're saying too, is like before making a final decision, like looking at all of your options and actually assessing like what.
Yeah, because scientists won't talk to the engineer, and the engineer sure as hell does not want to talk to the scientist, so. That's where we do kind of come in that middle ground of being able to go, okay, I understand, you know, he's looking out for the ship and he wants to solve his problems right now, and the scientist wants to solve their problems right now. How do we find that middle ground?
Wonderful. Yeah. So again, you know, before just a straight out no, go and find out more information. Get fully informed, right? I like that, you know, and then figure out, is there some way that we could, you know, keep everybody happy? And if it's not possible to resolve the scenario in a way where the science won't, you know, will not be interfered with, then figure out a way to communicate this so that the scientist understands that this is really important, right? And so it means also a kind of, interpersonal skills here, coming into play to help keep the situation calm and give enough information so everybody understands why something has to be decided to do. So, yeah, wonderful. You guys are, you're experts. But often there are people on board the ship that are new, right? And they may not necessarily be, initially handling situations with this kind of mindset. And so it's good to, offer that assistance. Okay, alrighty, so we're doing good on time, but we should move on to the final one. So this one, role play 5, you guys have that. Okay, so here we go. So Liam and Oliver have been selected to intern with the Marine technical team during a multi-week science expedition running 24-hour operations. Very busy. Oliver has prior experience working on a research vessel, but it's Liam's first at-sea expedition. Hazel, the marine technician, is assigned to mentor both interns. She is also tasked with extremely demanding shipboard responsibilities. She decides to assign some of the more difficult tasks to Oliver since he has more experience. But Liam claims that Oliver is getting to participate in more interesting projects and feels like he's not part of the team. Hazel asks Oliver to involve Liam, but the interns are not able to agree on task allocation, and a rivalry is developing between the two. Hazel feels overwhelmed. She needs to function as a mediator between the two interns, but she can't provide direct supervision during the entire shift. So, can we help both interns feel part of the team while meeting challenging shipboard responsibilities?
So the marine tech mentor.
The inexperienced intern.
Yeah.
And I was Oliver, the
Expert.
Yeah.
Know it all.
From my part as a mentor, we kind of decide, along with like a mentor, having like space for the people that they're managing to feel like they can communicate these things and taking that, like, I guess, not just like hearing them out about it, but then also, to make sure that both interns are like getting out of it what they would hope to be. Having Oliver, the more experienced intern, like be able to work on things while having Liam fit in on some of the stuff. And Liam mentioned Josh.
Yeah.
Josh mentioned that.
So there's some when we have new technicians, see one, do one, teach one. So you see it first, you don't put your hands on it at all. And so many times they want to be like, I know how to do that. And you're like, nope, step back, you're watching me do it first. You're going to do the next one and I'm going to watch you do that. And then Oliver, since you're the know-it-all, you're going to go teach Liam how to do it. And when Oliver goes to teach Liam, Oliver's going to realize he doesn't know shit about what they have to talk to you everything about. So there's a dynamic of just a little bit of experience. I call it the third mate syndrome, where like you come right out of school and you have all this book knowledge and you got taught all these things, and then you go out on the ship and you get told to do all these things that you were just taught for 4 years wrong. And it's like, yeah, but that's how we do it. And they have to like get over themselves and their greenness and just realize like, wait, there's a whole real world scenario out there that we kind of gotta realize that, okay, maybe as an intern, I'm not as hot shit as I think I am. And I should probably help Liam know as much as I do before, just kind of taking all the details.
So maybe the marine techniques to like have a sit down with either both at the same time, or maybe, try to squeeze in some time in there to at least have a one-on-one with each and just say it like it is.
Something that we haven't talked about that might work for this 24-hour operation is put them on opposite shifts. They're never really interacting with each other. Overlap with marine tech, so that marine tech gets to kind of supervise each one of them and then leave them with some jobs to do when they're not around.
Excellent.
And then, kind of having a list of things to do, like, and just like straight away at the time, just be like, Dean, you're gonna do this, Oliver, you're gonna do this. Do you have any issues with this list? Is there something you'd rather get instead? Or Oliver, you're gonna teach me to do this, and then Dean, you're gonna do it the next time, and Oliver's gonna watch you.
So it could be helpful too, before the exhibition starts, to actually kind of make a Jake this list. Or you could have some kind of like resources on.
We have a whiteboard, and that list is constantly getting added to and taken away from. It's just a running list constantly. You know, it's a whiteboard. The nature of a whiteboard.
Okay, so I know somebody here has a comment, but let me just see if anyone else from this group wants to add anything else.
Yeah, we talked a lot about kind of like, yeah, the dynamic of like coming into any situation in life with a little bit of experience and like kind of overestimating yourself and not being able to like have humility and function well in a team. So I think what Josh just mentioned about show one, do one, teach one is like a good strategy to help diffuse that for people. And then something that's like a game changer for me, whenever I'm working, is reminding everyone that we're working in a team. Being like, we have the same goals. Like we're like, we're not, we're on the same team. We're on the same team. We don't have to like be wrestling each other to pick the soccer ball. Like we both want to achieve the same stuff. There is something I can talk about.
Yeah, nicely said, yes.
Yeah, I would say a great person in a group, you really have very confident that one group, so you can like can certainly see things from a perspective and maybe kind of help everybody maybe learn a perspective. They're kind of different way it might be step back, kind of see it that a different way or from a more perspective.
So open up that communication early on, right? You know, and not allow things to fester.
Yeah, communicate early and often.
Okay, sorry, I know, no, I thought.
I'm just saying, just
I just
going off
feel
what
this energy.
going off what Josh was saying, like I had 2 interns, right?
Yes, at the same
At
time.
the same time. But being the one only technician at that time, I tried to like, how am I gonna get these guys the best of what we for this internship? So basically what Josh was saying, like, so I'll have them do 6 hour like watches while I do 12. So I can do overlap on both and see how they're doing, if they had any questions or anything like that. So this past year, or actually two years ago, when you had Alex as an intern, I had 2 as well, but luckily I had another technician to help me. So in that instance, I switched them. So I had one tech underneath me, the other tech underneath the other technician, and then sometime in let's say a crew change, I'll have them switch watches. So they can learn like the ins and outs, like, or the learning styles of each technician that they have to offer.
Great.
Because each of us technicians are, we're very, specialized and talented in various things, and
Done this a lot.
and I'm still learning as a technician. I don't have the answers.
It's a lifelong process.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess we can assume that in the 24-hour operations, there would be a backup technician, right? Here in this scenario, the only one technician position. Not always, short staffed and, yeah. All right, great. Any other comments?
I was gonna say, you giving a perfect description that requires the Dunning-Kruger curve, if anybody doesn't already know what that is. I'm just gonna say, look it up, just look up Dunning-Kruger.
There's also a joke about like second mate.
Yeah. It's pretty,
You can't remember it.
yeah. Okay, it's a big compliment.
Thank you. No one else has anything else to add?
I think also just laying down ground rules of like, hey, I'm going to assign more tasks to this person because they have more experience. I'm going to focus more on you so that you can get to that. Or I'm going to assign you just laying down that here's the reality of the situation. Don't get getting, assigned this or that, you're not quite there yet. Sometimes people just need that reality check because every intern, with that piece of paper, like, oh, look, I got accepted, like, they're already on that build up themselves, thinking like, I'm special, I got chosen for a reason sort of thing. And then once you step on board, you realize that this person actually has more experience than this person. So it's just like, hey, here are the ground rules. Yes, I am going to assign them this, or this, but I will work with you to get you up to speed to where we can start assigning some of those like harder tasks for you to do on your own. Like you're not going to be able to, crack bottles open and start swapping parts out or this or that completely unsupervised. No, you're going to have to spend the time being overseen until you get that skill level up to where I can trust you. An expectation right out the gate of, hey, I understand, because you both got the same piece of paper, but this person over here has more experience, this person has less. I'm going to be able to task and trust them a little bit more from your own assessment of their skill set, right? And then that allows you to focus on the less skilled person and being able to take them on that journey to where they can leave at least at the same playing field, if not more so. But yeah, second, just being real with people, going, this is the reason why I'm giving them these tasks, because I need to focus or let's see your skill set in the same manner. Let's take you on the journey to where you can be that successful on the next trip.
That's great. And I like how you worded it too, because it's, important to be sensitive, right? You want to be sensitive to this. The intern is super excited, they're like, oh, finally I made it, on board the ship. And I try to tell them in advance before they actually go on their journey that, you may not always, be able to participate in every single activity that you want to, be engaged in. Sometimes you have to just sit back and observe, don't take it personally. You just need to, communicate with your mentor, but in the end, it's the mentor who's faced with the real situation, right, on the ship of having to set those ground rules. Great. All righty, well, thank you so much. I think, we are pretty much up, and lunch is, right around the corner here. And I just want to thank you for your participation today. I hope that this was, somewhat helpful. I know a lot of you already bring a lot of experience to the table, and I really appreciate hearing your insights. And it's helping me also to really think about the different kinds of things I want to put in a mentor training guide. And I welcome you to please, if you are open to the idea of developing more scenarios and maybe even taking it to the next level, I'd like to do that. Like I don't want to today, this is the first time we're doing role play exercise. I wasn't sure how to keep balance. I didn't want to throw something at you that's like really, really, emotional. But I wanted the scenarios to be realistic enough so that you could have a real conversation about it. But if you have ideas on how to take things to the next level, maybe like just increase the intensity a little bit between the, with respect to the actual conflict, make it more challenging and less easy to resolve, I would love to hear your ideas. Because these things do happen on board the ship, and I want to hear, your stories. So email me, Maria@unals.org. And please let me know if you have any other comments or questions, or you just want to get together and talk more about it. I'm here all week, so. Right. Thank you again for your participation. If it's okay with you, I'd love to collect the notes. Yeah, your notes.
Oh, yeah.
And everything else you can want to wait on store.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
We have more to
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, like, during the session, that's when I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Tyler.
Also, I'm Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, you can
Yeah.
Good. I said, also,
Yeah, totally, yeah.
I think, yeah, just like cheese. Lunchtime. Lunch plan. I have a question. Right now. Behind. I've been like in a horror spirit. Anywhere. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I did that last week. Real quick.
Share your ideas or concerns.
Yeah, they. Last year, yeah. It was in the hotels or after. Yeah. I think that you're branding. Right? Yeah. I'm gonna. Okay.
Just is coding. So I procrastinated. So.
Although these scenarios were not manifest for many of us.
Yeah, for sure.
So anybody's doing. Like, was this the guy that share it to?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that is.
To include. Everybody's exercise, like our little. This is hold on. Sure, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You weren't,
Yeah, I think.
no, was there not?
Yeah.
So. We were. She's like.
Yeah, so many.
Yeah. Just stay there.
That's good.
Yeah. I know, well, I'm like it up here. Here. All right, talk to you later. See you tonight.
Yeah. Just today. Yeah. And I think I'm just gonna get some lunch at finish off.
Yeah.
Take my cat, so I can just like. Absolutely.
But you want to try, you're gonna make it to the reception?
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, I didn't,
Time actually to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I thought it was only ready for the presentation, I guess I wasn't.
Oh, nice. Felt like, great. You need to like just let it roll off. Nobody is thinking about that at all. You really are. I'm gonna show you.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
No.
one of those things.
Really great. You shared some of that, so it's about yourself. You could help on this side, saying, we want to fuck with it. Look, you didn't universal. Sometimes no matter what you just so situation. I understand.
I just want to take it and be able to like, so for me, when stuff like this happens, I just like to be able to set it. And that's, yeah, and then I like to be able to, I like to get to a stage where there's all, yeah.
You should enjoy lunch here though.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just the pressure is on. Time change. So that's just around the 4 year time. So there's been time being see that. So yeah. He's go ahead. So. Deserve like deserve things.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we just, you know, been able to, you know, connect and understand.
Well, thank you, I will.
Too great. Full, you know, aspiration. Yeah. It's easy. To make it easy.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Talk to you then. I'll see you at the Birch Aquarium there, 6 o'clock. Okay, all right. And if you're not feeling well, it's okay. Just ask.
No.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. Cool. All right. Thank you. Well, I'm glad that you were able to participate, and I think you made it, you know, fun. I like it.
I would love to be a part of your, whatever your, her, it's not just the writing, but because I do think someone role is very much working with the up and coming technician, right? And training that technician on exactly stuff like this. Yeah, and you know, we give them lots of different skill sets, but the interpersonal piece is huge.
It's always the hardest, I think, honestly, I think.
And then there's your own thing, these technicians, young technicians, to be the most flexible, to be able to pivot, to be able to see every challenge and where it shows up. And then have a solution. Yeah.
And 12-hour shifts.
Yeah. Yeah, and then to deal with all these different, I'm going to do that one.
Yeah.
So. Just perhaps take the bump.
I've heard of memory seeing it.
There are 12.
Like I'm teaching.
Yeah. Yeah, they would bring it to you for that.
Yeah. It's.
So. Out.
No, there's Lucas, forget about focusing.
Yeah,
Full sentences on that.
yeah. Good thing. It's like reports are like such language.
Yes.
If they have. Google.
Wow.
That too.
Yeah, that is tough. And then going out there on the ship at sea, suddenly you're like,
Well, that's the
this.
thing, if
There's
they
like a
want to
place
do this,
to- Yeah. So, I mean, the last couple of groups that I've and have been being sure with. One was super young, one was older, and so they already had like their separation like dynamic.
Yeah.
But the younger kid was it was a big. They're all my kids, but they're all not my kids either. He was young enough to understand this is valuable. The older guy was what I take away is what I'm going to move forward with, and so it was I'm going to take as much as from the older student was I'm going to take what I can and make it part of my future sort of thing. Whereas the younger one was way more in sponge mode of like, okay, now I'm beginning to understand what this type of world is and where I might fit and be able to kind of start navigating versus the other one going, yep, this is it, I'm ready to roll this skill set and move forward. So being able to kind of like balance and feed, give enough, breadcrumbs to both different groups when they've got vastly different, end goals. Yeah, where one's ready to go to work and the other one's ready to pursue this as an end goal, but wants to get through his bachelor's but keep this momentum going.
Yeah.
So it's being able to feed both those pieces.
Yeah.
And then throw them on a boat and say, okay, not only do you have to work with science people, but you have to work with professional ROV group and learn their ways on a brand new boat where everybody's learning.
In a remote setting, tight quarters, tensions rise, responsibilities. The ship, the internship is not really about the intern. The intern is a guest on these ships, right? And there's a science expedition happening. Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, money's being burned.
Yeah. And so, it's preparing someone for that experience. We're trying to figure out, I'm trying to figure out the best way to help prepare these students and before they go. Yeah, right. But it's tough. It's not always easy.
That's what we were just on, that's what we need simulator, like we have a ship simulator, so you need that in a personal simulator.
Yeah.
Things like because it's difficult to try to like teach the work ethic sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's also to very much convey you're earning your keep. Like you were putting in your sweat equity to your own future.
Yeah.
And so it's what you put in is what you're going to get out. You want to put the best part of you into this. Expect everybody to jump on board.
Yeah. Cool.
And like,
You still have the last step.
I'm just here. This piece of paper told me to show up at this time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
That's, I actually stumbled out of the room at the right time. It's in line right now. But usually I wait until like an hour.
Sweep the shop.
Okay, enjoy.
Sweep the shop. Makes you think that I trust you with a $60,000 piece of equipment. Yeah, so like I've got tons of feedback from businesses where they're like, well, this person, you could not even pick up a. That's the worst thing that a mentor can see is your hands in your pocket and not doing anything. Even if you're observing, be ready with the next tool available in your hand. Be ready with you taking down notes, something, have your hands out of your pocket ready to work.
One of the things that I hear time and time again from mentors is that they want somebody who, obviously they're interns, they're not expected to be experts in the area, but what they really are looking for are the soft skills. And, they want that person to be professional, they want them to be really enthusiastic about learning new things, they want them to be self-starters, like they want that person to come to them and say, what are you doing there? Sure.
Yeah.
Participate, or I'm here, I'm on time, started the shift, I'm ready to go, how can I help? It's that kind of attitude that I'm really looking for, I'm hoping to see it.
Sorry, I'm just enjoying the I just wondering, way back when I used to be a chemical engineer way back in the Wild West days, and when I interviewed people, the interviews were always, it was notorious for, okay, solve this. It didn't ask those problems. What I asked is like, here's the problem I'm actually working on, and I wasn't looking for the answer. What I was looking for was, so they'd be sitting at the desk, and I go up to the whiteboard and I start again, here are the circles and arrows. This is the problem I'm actually working on. And the unsuccessful candidate, so I use a splayed bee tree. The successful candidate would get up and grab a marker and start drawing with. And it was like, that's the person I want to work with.
Okay, there you go.
The person willing to jump in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes that's really hard to convey to students when they're first starting out is just that's the skill set. That's where we want you to be just for an opportunity. Just for an opportunity. Skills for you, and this isn't a project.
It's a big deal for a teacher. Because so often in education, you're told to just sit there and shut up and listen.
Yeah.
Not jump in. And I think that that's part of it too, to make them feel more welcome.
I tell my students all the time.
That's
"Don't
the
you
right
fuck
thing,
it up."
where I can communicate.
You need to fail.
Just do it now.
Yeah, sorry, excuse me for a moment. Yeah, I want to.
This is the class.
Sorry, you're.
Okay, so remind me again, did you want to use your laptop yet?
I can use my laptop.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, so I'm going to stop share.
Jump in that.
And then I'm going to, let's see, what do I need to do? I think I'm okay with just unplugging these two.
Yeah.
And you're going to plug, see, the Zoom, and then you're going to log into the Zoom meeting.
Yes.
And share your screen.
I will do that.
Thank you. You know what you're doing.
I
just like,
I can produce
out loud here.
I can produce a remarkable facsimile of knowing what I'm doing.
I'm going to move out of your way. Oh, and feel free to, I'm going to move all this stuff out of the way.
Okay.
Feel free to move things around.